Listen, I don't know how many people are going to chime in. I have no clue, but it's going to be on here. A fun one. I'm recording an episode. I figured I'd go live because it's it's Mahomes. It's Let's Talk About Mahomes. Spinatron, Valor Sports, Coach Turo. Gotta come on this morning. We got to talk. Papa Jim, I'll wave to all of you guys. I am recording an episode right now. I figured I'm going to put the phone on. I'm going to put this live, and you guys get the first 5 minutes of this episode. You ready for this? Mahomes is overrated. Overrated Mahomes. Now, I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking. And you guys, I'd love to hear it in the comments, right? I was dropping my kids off at school this morning, and I heard somebody compare Josh Allen to Patrick Ewing, right? Patrick Ewing said basically, for New York guys, if you don't get this, New York, Ewing was a hero. Ewing was, he was our guy, right? We loved him. We loved to root for him. And the guy fought wars. But ultimately, he always hit his head against the brick wall. I'm fried. Thanks, Card Puller. We'll see. Stick with me. We'll see. We'll see, Card Puller, right? But the brick wall was Michael Jordan. I thought to myself, is this guy actually trying to compare Patrick Mahomes right now to Card Messiah, to Michael Jordan? I've only heard one person ever make that comparison, Mahomes to Jordan. One. And it was Andrew. And we all know what we can do with Andrew's opinion. Just take it. Just chuck it, right? It's useless. So I started thinking, Mahomes, six straight AFC championship games. Six. Six is a magic number, guys. You know this. 6-minute abs, not 7. Not 7 minutes. Six is the key. Anybody in the chat know what movie? 6-minute abs. Six. 6 AFC championship games. How do you not compare him to Jordan with 6? Jordan had 6 finals appearances, and he won 6. Let's think about this for a second, guys. Let's think about it. Because the next 2 weeks are going to tell you whether Holmes is more Jordan or more LeBron. Because you can get to a lot of finals. Does that really matter? Let's follow through. Let's just assume he doesn't win a Super Bowl here. All right, let's assume he loses the AFC Championship game. That means he went to 6 and won 3. That's a 500 record. Let's assume he loses the AFC Championship game or the Super Bowl. 2 Super Bowls in 6. 2 Super Bowls in 6 is what that'll mean. 2. He will have been to 3. He will have beaten the mighty Jalen Hurts and the even mightier Jimmy Garoppolo and lost in a shellacking, like a 31-9, I think was the final, to Tom Brady, the aged Tom Brady. Tom Brady, who is, by that time in his career, a baseball player. So I submit to you, Mahomes, overrated. But he can do a lot for himself in these next 2 weeks. A road victory was awesome. That was great. He has to send an edible arrangement to the Buffalo Bills kicker, Mr. Bass, Scott Norwood. He's got to thank him. And maybe, even if that was a tying field goal made, Mahomes would have drove him down the field. He's done it before. But these next 2 weeks are huge because I anticipate he's probably going to be an underdog on the road against this Ravens defense, against this team. And if he loses, I'd love to show my cards on IG today, but I don't have any. Now remember, I'm a Raider fan. Those of you guys who know me know I have to tell you where I'm coming from. I'm a Raider fan here. So I don't own any Mahomes cards. I never will. I can't stand the guy. And this whole Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce, Jason Kelce, it makes it even worse. It makes me want to root for anyone they're playing against. But think about it for a second. Even if you are a Mahomes nut hugger, and there are a few of them in the chat, I see you guys. Even if you are a Mahomes nut hugger, if he loses next week, he will have won 2 Super Bowls in 6 AFC Championship appearances. 2 in 6. That's worse than LeBron in the finals. And it's not Jordan. So anyway, it is a Raider fan. Carpool, I'm a Raider fan. That's the first couple minutes. I wanted to go live and, BS with you guys. I'm going to finish my episode now, but this is the first 5 minutes of my episode. I hope you guys tune in later today when we finish it up. Talk to you guys soon. Enjoy the work week. Take care, everybody. Then there you go. That's it. I got to tell you, I was hoping to get this one up a little earlier today. I had some Verizon issues. I recorded like 6 or 7 times. There were other cool little nuggets that were in there. But I said, you know what? I'm going to call Verizon. My Wi-Fi wasn't doing so great. And instead, I jump on and let's just tax that Wi-Fi. Let's do IG on the phone. Let's do the video here. Let's get it going. So, guys, I won't burden you. Obviously, I wanted to come on and talk about that game. Great game. So the guys on the live will miss this. A great game. It was an entertaining game, a fun game. It was all you'd expect, a back and forth game. The interesting part of it was I was about to, put up an Instagram story and say, does anybody play defense? And as soon as I said it, they started playing defense. It was like 9 of the first 10 possessions, there was a kneel down, so maybe 9 of the first 11 possessions. The team scored back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. I think Buffalo punted once and the Chiefs kneeled down. And then like the next 4 possessions, no scoring. Just the defense is tightened up. Maybe people got a little nervous. Maybe they realized what was on the line. Maybe they realized the game was on the line there. And, it got a little tougher. But wow, just, that may be the best game we get to see. That may be the best game we get to see. I'm not a huge Josh Allen fan, so my rooting interest in there was, all right, it doesn't really matter. Ian has a Josh Allen and a Patrick Mahomes jersey. If Josh Allen won, he would have wore his jersey. Mahomes won, he wore a Shaq jersey. Just throwing that out there, letting you know how we roll here in this house. My son was not wearing a Mahomes jersey today, even though he has one, which I didn't buy him. I'll make sure you guys know that also. But an interesting game. I will tell you this. Listen, prognosticator of prognosticators like Punxsutawney Phil here, you're going to say BS, and I should wait till Ian comes home and he can confirm this. But I did a little kicking when I was younger. I actually kicked a couple 50-yard plus field goals myself. And I was watching the kickers because it's bad weather. I was watching those kickers warm up. And sometimes you get a little too fancy. It's like a golfer trying to put draw on it, trying to hook the shots. And you could tell because of the wind, because of the weather, Bass, every time he warmed up, he was kicking and he was sliding the kicks to the left and having it basically hook back to the right. And when he lined up for that kick, I said, Ian, he's going to miss wide right. And he was like, why? I said, because he's facing this way. All of his, you can see it, you can look at it. All of his warm-up kicks, he was facing on straight. He kicked it and it kind of swerved back. This one, he's facing right. The kick went straight to the middle. And then you see it just hook to the right. Wind involved, you name it, the whole deal anyway. I swear, guys, I said he was going to miss it to the wide right. But that's the Mahomes curse. That's just what happens. Oh, man. Now, let's flip it. Let's say Mahomes goes in and he beats Lamar, this season's MVP, in Baltimore, and then goes on and wins the Super Bowl, which I think, these 2 weeks are probably his toughest tests, right? Are you really – the Niners are a good team, but Debo, I hope he's not really injured. Debo is the heart and soul of that team. If you guys go back and take a look, it's not Purdy. It's not anybody else. When they had their little, rough patch during the middle of the season, those games they lost, those games they struggled, Debo was out. Also, I hope that the weather is nice because Brock Purdy can't throw a wet football. He just can't. I don't know if he's got small hands or whatever the story is. But if Mahomes goes through a gauntlet of Allen, then goes into Baltimore and beats Lamar in Baltimore, then goes into the Super Bowl and beats the 49ers, I still say he sucks. No, I'm just kidding. That is a real feather in the cap, right? This would be the most impressive feather in his cap. This would be the most impressive run, the most impressive. Now, he's only taken one step of it, so let's not crown it yet, right? And this is the point why I say Mahomes is overrated. That remains to be seen. Because I could potentially, I don't want to say overwhelmed, underwhelmed. I could potentially just get to whelmed. Right? Not overwhelmed or under, just whelmed, just straight regular whelmed by Patrick Mahomes. If he does that gauntlet, if he goes out there, wins these 2 big ones on the road in bad weather and real unfriendly confines, right? He goes out there and does it and wins these 3 games. That will be what's funny about it, all the things he's done, that would be the most impressive win. That would be the most impressive win in his repertoire, on his resume. And it would bring him to 3 Super Bowls. I don't know that he does it. And if you're a Mahomes nut hugger, and there's a lot of you guys out there, I know there are a lot of you guys, you must have watched the Muppets as kids. right? You got a crush on, Miss Piggy, and you know what I'm talking about, Jay, Card Messiah. You always love Miss Piggy. That's why you like Mahomes, that Kermit voice. Ugh. I mean, maybe you guys like him. Maybe you like this Taylor Swift garbage. Not me. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. I can't wait for them to lose. I can't wait. But I will give him credit where it's due. If he goes through this gauntlet, that's impressive. That's one of the more impressive things we've seen since Brady, who I also hate because I'm a Raider fan. See how that works? Raiders. It's in here. I got to hate Brady. I got to hate Mahomes. But I won't say Brady is overrated. I'll say he got the benefit of the Tuck rule. I'll definitely say that. But the thing is, we're always comparing people, right? I even started off and did it myself in this episode here, like Josh Allen is Patrick Ewing. And, does that make Mahomes Michael Jordan? We're always doing that comparison. I will tell you that if you want to compare Mahomes to the greats, when you are, factoring out his career, your argument is very different if you are able to say he went to 6 straight AFC championship games, as opposed to he went to 6 straight AFC championship games, won 3 Super Bowls, including one like this where he went through the gauntlet. It's sort of like LeBron taking down the super team that year. You know what I mean? And it adds something to it. It adds credibility to your argument. Whereas if I were you as a Mahomes fan, as a Mahomes, investor, buyer, you name it, I would be a little nervous right now because his story is being written over the next couple of weeks. And his story could very easily be that while he went to 6 AFC championship games, he was not someone who won the big game. He was 500 in those AFC championship games and only won 2 Super Bowls, even though he had 6 straight appearances in the AFC championship game. And in those Super Bowls, he had to beat inferior quarterbacks, significantly inferior. Jimmy Garoppolo. Just throw that out there for you guys. All right, enough of that Mahomes crap. Let's spend a couple minutes on the hobby, the cards, the fun, the crazy, all that other nuts stuff. I got to tell you, I like Sports Card Radio, almost 2 hours. It was an hour drive to the White Plains card show, an hour drive back, and it was like perfect. I listened there. I listened back. My son had headphones in because he didn't really care. Those guys are entertaining. If you don't listen to them, they're Thursday night, once a week live. It's fun. They talk about the hobby in an interesting way. It makes light of the whole thing, but also shines a light on a bunch of issues. While at the same time, they're basically bidding on cards. These are hobbyists. These are guys who have been here for a long time. They're not everybody's cup of tea, but I find them entertaining. Throwing that out there for you guys. The card show. Great card show. I got to see some friends, Didn't really post pictures of it because, sometimes it's okay to just hang out with card friends and not post it. That includes you, the Beckett guy. The Beckett guy was there. I got to chat with the Beckett guy. He's doing good. That guy, Beckett guy, is the life, the soul, the blood pumping through Beckett. Dr. James Beckett, that was his company. But now with Dr. Beckett not there, Beckett guy. What he says goes there. At least it should. I saw John, the basketball card guy, just buying basketball cards. Just being, I like this one. Oh, a Shaq Odo. He's just buying basketball. I said to him, what are you doing? You got anything you specifically look for? He goes, no, I go to every table. I look, and if there's something cool, I buy it. Think about that for a second, because I did a whole episode on this. I did a whole episode about, see the card, want the card, buy the card, keep the card. This dude is just walking around looking for cards that strike his fancy and buying them. I like that Shaq. It's not licensed, but that's a cool little neon Topps Finest auto. I actually brought him some cards. I brought him an autographics of Kelvin Cato. Look him up. He was supposed to be awesome. He was all right. He was a great college player. High draft pick. Didn't really turn out to anything. Then I flashed him a card. It looked like it was Golden State, Mullen. And he's like, Chris Mullen. And I said, no, add an S. And then call him Jeff Mullins. Don't even know who he is. But Ian and I got him in an optic box. So, if there's an obscure basketball autograph, who do you give it to? On card. You give it to basketball card guy. So that was fun. Got to hang out with him a bit. So Marino, Wax Stars. My man Blake. So a bunch of folks, right? the Piece of the Game guys were there. A lot of the same dealers. Black Jaded Wolf. Ian was selling cards. And let me give you a fun little story for Ian. He ultimately sold a card, but it's a valuable kind of story, right? It definitely is. I never did the whole recap about my Wembies. Maybe you guys will, maybe I'll do that at some point in time when, I guess when the time is right here. Ian had a Wemby card with him, the RPS, a black label. I think there's 9 of them. That's the Panini Instant one where he's in the Spurs jersey for the first time. It's the second Panini Instant one. He had the draft night one where he's holding up the jersey. This was one he's actually wearing the jersey in the card. So it's kind of his first one, but it's instant. And now obviously he's got cards out, right? He's got Hoops cards out, and he's got, Prism is kind of finding its way there. I saw, people had blaster cases selling for $50. It's an interesting space because that stuff hasn't even released yet, and yet it's out. So that's weird in and of itself. But anyway, he's going around to tables, and he has sold a couple of these cards already because we had a bunch of them. And the first couple sold for like $900, and then were like $700, and then $500. And anyway, he wants to hold his ground on it because he thinks it's a good card. But of course, the last comp, $373. One of them sold for $373 recently. Probably not a good auction date. It was right around the new year. I'm sure there were a whole bunch of reasons why that one sold for so low. Maybe he didn't sell it with Probstein. He sold it with PC, and he didn't get the eyeballs. Yeah, I'm taking a shot at you, Josh. Just kidding. But we'll see if you listen. So who knows why? But of course, what lesson did Ian learn? Every table he went up to, picked that card out, were interested in that card, looked it up, and said the last sale price was $373. I will give you $250. I'll give you $300. One guy was like, I'll give you $250, and no one here is going to give you more than that. And Ian said, the guy right there waved to him. He just offered me $315. So I guess you're wrong. But, you're going back and forth, and you're going around. And I spoke to Ian, and during the show, I said to him, well, listen, you have to make a decision whether you want to keep that card or whether you want to start explaining why you shouldn't just use the last comp. You should use the last 2 comps because the one before that was like 5 and change. And if this person wants to buy this card for $373, go find it. Go find another one for $373, and it's yours. You can't. So that comp doesn't matter. There aren't any more on eBay for you to buy. There are no buy it nows. There are none out there. He also had the same cards with him because we haven't got a PSA return in a while. I'm putting one together now. He also had the same cards with him for the last 3 shows. So basically the box he's carrying around, with a couple little add-ons in there, is basically the same picked over stuff. And what you'll know is, even though I drove an hour to the show, the vast majority of the dealers are the same dealers, the same people. And the first couple cards he sold were new cards that he put in. Like I found a Joe Mauer auto, a museum collection on card. And I'm like, put this in there. I bet somebody pays you $25-30 for it because he's going to get voted into the Hall of Fame on Tuesday. And of course, it was the first card that sold. New stuff. So I talked to him on the way home, and I said, listen, this happened to me. When I was a teen, I used to take the Staten Island ferry in and walk up Broadway past the Bull. The Fearless Girl wasn't there yet. You guys know the Fearless Girl. This one. Bought this for my wife. The Fearless Girl wasn't there staring the Bull down, but that's the Bull. It's down there by Wall Street. Used to walk past that every day, pulling a little wheelie luggage full of cards. And I would set up on a table right by the stock exchange. And at lunchtime, people would come out, and the dealers would be there, and there would be people set up, with wax. And I would have single cards. It would be stuff that, I opened. People always bought every Jordan I had, people bought. But the first week I was there in the summer, people would just boom, had a great week the first week, second week. Third, fourth week, good weeks, but not as good as the first and second. I got to the 5th or 6th week, and people would come by, they'd look, and, I would leave with very little money. And the guy whose table I was next to said, hey, kid, you're learning a lesson here. And I said, well, what's the lesson? And this is a lesson some of the guys who set up at these shows should probably learn too. He said, you got the same people here. They've seen all your cards already. You got to refresh your stock. The stuff that's left after 4 or 5 weeks, these guys don't want it. And it's basically the same guys coming through. They're on their lunch break, the same stockbrokers, the same bankers, the same guys. It's not a, foot traffic. It's not, There are not many tourists walking past looking to buy cards from you and take them back to whatever country they're coming from. This is the same guys. You need to refresh your stock. And I told Ian the story. He's like, what'd you do? And I said, well, I took every card that was left and I went to a card store and I sold it. And I probably took, less than they were worth. But what I did was I said to the dealer in the store, it's called Prime Time. It's Staten Island. It's not there anymore. I said, here's what I want you to do. That was the cash price. Obviously, you'll give me more in trade. Let me go through your cases and let me pick out, value in kind of stuff that you're not moving, stuff that I can move. And I knew what these bankers were buying. I knew they wanted basketball inserts. I knew who they wanted. I knew they wanted Michael Jordan cards. So, stuff that wasn't selling in his store, I knew I could trade my stuff for his and, replenish the stock. And it wasn't a, crazy amount of stuff at the time, a couple $100, $500, whatever it was worth of cards. And of course, bought some packs like we always do. And it was an important lesson to learn because I went back out there the next week and half the inventory was gone in that first week. And I said this to Ian. I said, this is an interesting thing. And, he's always buying wax. I said, sometimes maybe that $100 on that box or the $200 or the $400 you want to spend on this soccer box, maybe you're churn your inventory, and, we talked about it on the ride home and he gave me a stack of cards that he has now had at a bunch of card shows. And he said, send these over to Probstein, send them over to Rick Probstein and sell them. And whatever you get, give it to me and I will buy stuff with it and move to the next one and have a fresh inventory. Anyway, it's just a fun little story. It was, I love the card show experience. I saw Overtime Sam there with his dad. Awesome guys. They've been doing cards for a while. I saw them at National buying, vintage baseball. I pointed out a cool Amen Thompson card OTE to Sam. I mean, it's got to be awesome for him. I mean, making these cards happen and then seeing them in someone's showcase has got to be really awesome. But I was over at the Heritage booth and we were looking at some of the awesome stuff. Those guys, their February auction is going to be insane. Some of the stuff that's coming. And I'll take a second on Heritage in a second. But to finish the same thing, I said, there's Ian, and he's right there. I pointed at, I never let him get too far from me. I always watch in case he needs me. And Sam pointed out to his dad, he goes, look what he's doing. That's Cage's son. And the dad was like, you used to do that. That was you. You used to do the same thing. And think of the lessons you learned there. And here's, a kid who's in a entrepreneurial business here, really doing things his own way. And, it had me smiling because I think there are lessons learned at these card shows by my son that are important. And conversation that we have after that are important. Heritage, really quick. I'll end 30 seconds on this. And I'm not paid by anybody, guys, let alone Heritage. I'm not paid by anyone. I'm literally not getting $1 from anyone right now. Heritage was an awesome stop because sometimes cards and memorabilia and you name it, we're like treasure hunters, especially the auction houses like a Heritage. They're treasure hunters, but they don't have to hunt for the treasure. The treasure hunts for them. They sit there and people walk up to them and say, look what I got. And I was able to hold a 1927 Yankees World Series ring. What? That's amazing. And I'm sure that's coming up for auction in the next auction or 2 auctions from now. Just an amazing piece that you don't expect to kind of to show up. But look at that. And they talk about some sealed wax and stuff that's coming in their next auction next month. That is fun. That's worth the hour trip for me in and of itself. Seeing obviously the friends are there. Have a great time with Ian. That convention center actually has Nathan, so that's good food. Little hot dog. Little glizzy gobbler. So anyway, it was a fun time, lots of fun stuff. But being able to see that kind of piece, and hold it, that's pretty awesome. That's awesome stuff. It is one of the reasons that this is the best hobby in the world because in 25 minutes, I can come on here and shellac Mahomes. I can come on here and tell you what I think about him, and in the same time, talk about how awesome it is to be able to hold these historical pieces of memorabilia. Hobby your own way. Have some fun with it. Hope you enjoyed the episode, guys. Talk to you soon.